Buy cheap and safe NBA 2K22 MT at NBA2King.com. You can use code Excapar, that's EXCAPAR, for 5% off your entire purchase. Alright everybody, we are back at it with another tier list, and this one is going to be on the best PGs in NBA 2K22 Myteam. So if you guys are excited, make sure you hit the like button, or just the like button in general. Just hit the like button, helps your boy out, just to have some fun with it. We did do the best cards tier list, so if you want to see how everybody ranks, period, I did do that yesterday. I'll link that down in the description down below. Doing a little bit reverse this time, just because we're going to have some fun with it. And as always, hit that subscribe button if you guys are new. And if you see anybody that you think I'm missing, or you want some guys moved up, down, all that sort of stuff, let me know down in the comment section below so we can see everybody's opinions on cards. So let's get right into it. As we always do, show you guys the hard pass tier, which is mostly made up of cards that kind of are just, you know, past their prime, we'll say. And one of those being Sapphire Steph Curry, or Seth Curry. I said Steph. Sapphire Seth Curry, who was actually one of the better PGs, especially for cheap, you know, budget people out there in the game at the beginning of the year. Was really fun. Jump shot 32, I think, on quick, and was an absolutely money card out there. Can still be funny for playing like a draft mode or triple that offline. You need to use like lower rated cards, but I think in general not too crazy anymore. Just doesn't really have the defense, and we're not really too excited about him. The next one we got here is Russell Westbrook, but the Ruby masked version, and that's just because, like, I really don't care that this Westbrook has blinders at all. Like, what's the point? You know what I mean? We're not taking threes with Westbrook. I think that's the thing that sucks with him. His jumper's a little bit too slow to really be 100% viable. He's a good slasher for a Ruby, but I think there's another card that dropped in his same set that's just a little bit better. Ron Harper, his main shtick was that he was tall and he plays defense, but I don't really need him anymore. Has nothing on offense and has seriously one of the worst jumpers in the entire game. I'm figuring that out right now as I'm doing some XP for Adrian Dantley, and it is absolutely horrid because the jumper is just not good. So that kind of kills it. Next up is Leandro Barbosa. I just don't like him. Simple as that. Just don't like Leandro Barbosa. This is it. The next one is Ruby Andre Miller, who's actually a pretty decent card, but I don't know. I'm not really excited to use an Andre Miller. Jump shot 37 is not bad. He's got some good defense. He's got some good playmaking, but he's just, I don't know, very underwhelming to me. Definitely not a card that I'm jumping out of my socks to go ahead and get. And just, yeah, he's not really my cup of tea. And the next one is Gilbert Arenas, who's an L. Like the biggest of L's that you could possibly have in my team is this Gilbert Arenas. I don't know what it is about my guy Gilbert here, but he ain't it. Jumps at 11, used to be one of the best jumpers in the game, and now it's just absolutely horrendous. The guy just he can't do anything, which sucks for him, but you know, it is what it is. You can only do so much. It sucks to see Gilbert fall so far. He used to be one of the best short PGs, but now he just has a bad dribble style. He's got a bad jumper. He's just got a bad everything. It's not worth your time to use this Gilbert Arenas, like literally at all. And then last but not least is Spencer Dinwiddie, who actually should be a halfway decent card, but I'm just not really feeling. Not really my cup of tea, you know what I mean? I don't know. He's got a good, I think, shifty dribble style or something like that, and has, I think, an okay jumper. It is a little bit slow, but just in general, really just, I'm not a fan. I don't know what it is, but I just don't really like our guy Spencer out here. It's just, you know, my opinion. And that actually ends it up for a hard pass tier. I don't have too many down here. And we can start off in our still decent tier, where I'll just show you guys everybody and kind of go through them again. Where we have Ruby Derrick Rose, who is the counterpart to Westbrook, who I think is just better than Westbrook. And it really just goes off of that. Like, that's just it. Derrick Rose just has a better jumper. It feels more consistent. It feels more smooth. I feel like I can hit it more consistently than I can with Westbrook's. I like the slashing on both of them. It's both, you know, good. Just in general, I just prefer Derrick Rose over Westbrook. You can disagree, but that's where I'm going with. The next one we got out here is Slick Watts, who is basically the same as the Dennis Schroeder that we'll talk about a little bit. They both have the Charles Oakley jumper and actually I think halfway decent dribble styles, which is pretty cool for the both of them. Like actually pretty damn solid. I think the main problem that you're running with Slick Watts, he just doesn't really feel amazing offensively, but he does have good defense. So there's that for him. You know, that's kind of going for him. He can be fun there. But the other problem that you just run into is you don't really care to use them too consistently. And yeah, that's just my personal opinion on him. I'm not really a fan. Don't really see ever a reason for me to evo him up, at least. But Dennis Schroeder doesn't really have the defense, but is a little bit better on offense. But you still have that Charles Oakley jumper, so really how great can you be So, there's the question, I guess, for it. All around is still a good card, is still a fun card, but just not one that I'm really jumping out of my socks again to use, but still can be pretty nice depending on what you're doing. So, there's that. And the next one is our guy, D. Brown, who, again, I'm just not really a fan of. D. Brown is nice. We'll say that. He is really, really, really good. But the thing is, I just find him too slow, and I just wasn't really getting the jumper to fall too consistently for my liking, and the defense really just wasn't there. He's supposed to be a good slasher, but I just couldn't really get it going with him. Just, really just wasn't my cup of tea. I guess we'll say that for him. And the same thing goes for Walt Frazier. Used to be my starting PG for literally the longest time. Like, Walt Frazier was actually like my starting PG for a really long time once I got, the 150 tokens and decided to just, full send on him. But the problem with Walt Frazier is he just has a really slow jumper that you really can't get going too consistently if you really want to. His slashing is actually pretty alright. His defense was good, but I did feel like it was a little bit underwhelming at times. And just his playmaking was good, but I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of better PGs you could really use out there other than Walt Frazier. The next one we have is Diamond Trey Young, and I don't know. The thing about Trey Young is that he's really good at getting buckets, but this guy just doesn't have defense. And there's his counterpart, which is a little bit more expensive, that you should just go with anyway. If you're going to pick up a Trey Young card, pick up the glitch. Don't pick up this moment. It's not worth your time, but he's still good because offensively he's a god. The next one we got is Rod Strickland. Imagine Kyrie Irving just with the base dribble style, and then you have Rod Strickland. Not worth your time. Next up is Oscar Robertson, who I keep dumping on just because I think it's funny. To be honest, we have a lock-in reward card that's just bad. A lot of people loved Oscar when he first came out. I never really was a fan, and I still just don't really love him really at all. He can be an okay card, he can be a fun card, but he's got the base dribble style, and it's just kind of tough. And last but not least is our man Jalen Suggs. I feel like I may have gone over Davion Mitchell, but oops, Davion Mitchell is one of the fastest jumpers in the game, but he's still a Sapphire and he's missing out badges. So that's really about it. And then with Jalen Suggs, as a really good jumper, has the quick dribble style, which is amazing. And I would say when it comes to Sapphires, aside from Jonathan Isaac, I would say, actually, maybe he's better than that, actually, is the best like offensive Sapphire card in the game. Just doesn't have any sort of defense to go back with that. But he can be a demon in limited if you know what you're doing. So overall, still pretty damn good. And that is our still decent tier. Now we can hop up with our pretty damn style. We're started off with Cole Anthony, who is a pole pierce that can speed boost and play PG, essentially, because he has the Paul George jumper on quick, I'm pretty sure, and I think has the quick dribble style, either quick or shifty. It just gets out there and gets buckets. Doesn't have defense, but you can add some defensive badges to really make him, top tier if you wanted to. I don't think it's too worth it because there's a lot of Amethyst PGs around his price that can do everything that he can and already come with those badges, but Cole Anthony is an absolute demon and still can get some buckets for you if you want to. So you know what? Go Cole Anthony. He's still a bit of a W, at least in my book. The next one we got out here is Ruby Kobe White, one of the OG like budget PGs that a lot of people were using. It was this Ruby Kobe White because he's got a good jumper and he is an amazing slasher. Playmaking is pretty good as well, alright on the defensive end, but again, people just like him because you can pretty consistently time his jumper and the fact that he was just a great slasher, which is awesome for it. I still think he's a bit outdated, but is still an all-around really solid, PG. Next up is our man Amethyst Chris Paul. Chris Paul has defense, he's got shooting, he's got playmaking, he's really got everything besides dunking, which is kind of tough. The jumper is a little bit slow, I will say that. The CP3 jumper isn't the fastest in the world, but it's still pretty good. You can still have some nice things with there, although he is a little bit undersized. Next up is our man Drew Holiday. The guy's just got defense. Like Drew Holiday, we got him because he has defense. He's not going to be as shifty as other PGs. He's got the base dribble style. That's tough. We don't love it, but we can work with it. But the thing that we love is Jump Shot 29 is a really nice, really easy to time jumper. And then on top of that, Drew Holiday is just one of the most lockdown guards you can use in the game, which I just love. I love cards that can play defense this year. They just feel so good. And Drew Holiday is literally exactly that. So you're not going to be as shifty on the offensive end, although you're going to be a catch and shoot god, but defensively, he's insane. Next up is our man Pink Diamond Russell Westbrook, another card who is amazing as a slasher. But, I mean, we said about everything that applies to the Ruby also kind of applies to the Pink Diamond. We're going to be an amazing playmaker. We're going to be an amazing slasher. But we're probably not going to shoot too well. And he only has, like, bronze clamp, so he's not the most amazing defender. But he still can be a really fun card because this Westbrook throws down when you're in the paint. Next up is our man Dave Bing, one of the shiftiest cards in the game. Just has amazing dribble styles and just dribble sigs in general, which is really fun to have. And then on top of that, he kind of has a trash jumper, we'll say that. But he is a good finisher and everything like that, so yeah, you can still give some dubs to Dave Bing, although I don't really think he's worth it, especially now with the new season kind of rolling around. Next on the list is going to be our man Ramon Rondo, who I think is honestly just a slightly better version of Walt Frazier, where we are a defensive playmaker that can kind of shoot a little bit, can kind of finish a little bit. I think Walt has a better dunk than Rondo, but I mean in general, you're not picking these guys up because they're going to be amazing offensive guys for you. Picking them up because they can play make really well for you and they can play really good defense. Like that's really the name of the game if you're using either of these guys. I just think Rondo's a little bit better than Walt Frazier, in my opinion. Next up is our man Patty Mills. I mean, come on, base 98. That's all you got to say. Cannot play a lick of defense, but base 98. Next up is our man Louis Dampier, who is basically Tony Parker, just without being Tony Parker. That's essentially it. Doesn't have the most amazing dribble style. I think it's slasher or something, you know, similar to that. But the Tony Parker jumper's money. He can actually shoot really damn well. He's a pretty solid finisher, and his defense is actually pretty good for a guy that's undersized. So Louis Dampier was all around a pretty damn solid card. I mean, he fits into the tier perfectly. Next up is our man Kyrie Irving, one of the better offensive cards that I've used. I love the Kyrie jumper this year. It is so easy to time, and that diamond is money. I just kind of put this amethyst up because I think it's what more people are using now versus earlier in the year. Who knows? But either way, Kyrie Irving gets shifty. He has some amazing dribble styles, or dribble sigs with the Kyrie Irving dribble style. The jumper being on quick is a really big help. His layup package is absolutely horrendous. Blocks all the time, but you can still get buckets, although you're not really playing too much defense. Next up is our man Johnny Boy John Stockton, you know, Karl Malone's duo. And the thing with John Stockton is that his dribble style sucks. I don't know what it is, but it adds a hezzy almost to every single animation that I was trying to do and try to burst out of when I was doing the gameplay with him. His jumper, really fast for being on the normal timing. His defense, really good for a guy that's 6'1". Can't dunk, but I don't know. He could be so much. Honestly, if his dribble style was better, you know, he gave him a quick, gave him a shifty. I actually would say that this John Stockton could be in Baby Demon tier, not Demon because he doesn't have dunking. But I think with what they gave him, yeah, he's sitting there in the pretty damn solid because he's good, but just doesn't unlock his full potential. And last but not least is our man Jason Kidd, who actually has everything going for him besides the fact that his jumper is slower than my grandma. Really about it. I mean, he's got defense, he's got shooting, he's got playmaking, he's got all that, but I mean, you're not going to get the jump shot off, and that's really just about it. Like, you're not going to be able to shoot with our guy Jason Kidd. It's just kind of how it goes. And that actually finishes off our pretty damn solid tier, and we can start opening up to our demons, baby demon tier, which is starting with Diamond Derrick Rose. Again, another all offense, not really too much defense, and for some reason, this Derrick Rose is just a god. Not for some reason. He has Hall of Fame quick first step. That's the reason. The Hall of Fame quick first step makes this Derrick Rose an absolute god. He just finishes everything in the basket as well. Doesn't have the most amazing defense, but you can still get some out of there if you know what you're doing. You can hide him a little bit, but Derrick Rose, this guy is seriously insane. Next up is back-to-back the Jonte Murrays. These guys are crazy. I mean, they have really good defense. I honestly will say, I think the Amethyst has like a little bit better in like the stats of like the badges, but like the moments. I said the Amethyst. The moments has a little bit better in that, but the other one, the Mystic one, I think that's what it's called, has what is it? Hall of Fame floor general, which I much prefer to have. Like, yeah, you know, give me, you know, silver claims, something like that. I don't know. Instead, I think they both actually have gold cans. But, you know, take 2 or 3 away from my 3-point shot and give me Hall of Fame floor general, and I think he has, like, gold quick first step and still silver, and it's definitely a big dub. It is a little bit weird, his jumper, I will say that. You have to release it before you think you would, but in saying that, it's still a really good jumper. His defense is absolutely locked down. The slash dribble style isn't ideal, but he still gets it done. And all around, I've had a lot of fun with this Jonte Murray. He's been great for just running some budget lineups up in triple threat just to mess around with some cards. Absolutely loved him for that, and he's just all around a really, really good and really, really fun card. All around, the Mystic set actually was pretty damn solid. I won't lie about that. Next up is our man Tyrese Maxey, the guy that was getting the hype up from DBG to be like the best budget PG in the entire game, and for a while he's actually right. Actually, he might be insanely right now that the market has crashed and he's insanely cheap because Tyrese Maxey has really good defense. He has great playmaking. He can shoot it really, really well, and you can add a sniper to him. He's got good finishing, and you can add a post strides to him. And he's got jump shot 84, which is a really money jumper. Same one as like Emmanuel Quickly and Furkan Korkmaz if you use those. Has the quick dribble style and some good dribbling animations, and it's just all around like a really, really good card. And you can pick him up for like 2.5, 3 KMT. It may have changed a little bit, obviously, since I'm recording this video and when you're watching it. But for the price, seriously is one of the best just value cards you can have right now in the game, which is always a bit of a plus. Next up is our main Sleepy Floyd, who is basically similar to Dave Bing, not as, shifty, I will say, but jump shot 22 is a lot better of a jumper, has, I think, slightly worse defense than Dave Bing, but you'll be fine, and can slash really, really well too. All around, Sleepy Floyd is still one of my favorite PGs. He's super funny, super nice, but we do have some budget guys that I think can outplay him a little bit, but still, Sleepy Floyd is a god. Next up is my man Ricky Rubio, who got so much unneeded flag when he came out. Like, this Ricky Rubio, kind of a demon. Just imagine Andre Miller, but good, and you have Ricky Rubio. Jump shot 37, pretty solid all around. Slasher dribble style does kind of suck, but you can get around it. And all around is Ricky Rubio, which is great. Again, I like defensive playmakers, as my PGs, especially when I'm using a guy like, Klay Thompson as my shooting guard. I don't really need my point guard to score too much because Klay can have it. Ricky Rubio kind of fills that slot perfectly. Good defender, really good playmaker, good three-point shooter, or capable three-point shooter, and he can slash a little bit too. Like, all around, I really like Ricky Rubio. Next up is Amethyst Mike Conley. Was everybody's favorite free PG until Steve Francis came around, but there's good reason to it. He's basically Sleepy Floyd, like a reskin of Sleepy Floyd. I think he's 2 inches shorter or something like that. But with Mike Conley, you get a good dribble style, you get really good defense, has jump shot 22, and just absolutely money. Like, all around is a super fun card that you can get a lot out of. And he's, I think, free for winning 10 triple threat offline games in a row, which almost everybody should be able to do, especially if you cheese the AIs real well. So again, he's a free card that's this good. You gotta love it. Next up is our man Jason Terry, another card that gets way too much flack, but is actually such a good card. Has jump shot 22, I think has the quick dribble style and some really good dribbling animations, and it's just a shooter. Like, it's just a beautiful shooter. This Jason Terry is just super fun, especially if you pick up that mass version. You get that added blinders, and it just makes him an absolute demon, makes him so fun to use. And again, gets a lot of flack that I really think he shouldn't have because he's a god. And last but not least, another favorite budget card of a lot of people is Eric Snow. It's got jump shot 28, which is a really easy, consistent jumper to get. Like, it's just, I don't know, it's one of those jumpers that I just personally have the timing down really well. So it's always good there. And Eric Snow just has amazing defense as a budget guy. Can also slash a little bit, but the shooting and the defense is really what you love as a budget PG. Hate the fact that he has the fundamental, I think, triple style. Like, I don't love that. I wish it was something else, but I can kind of understand it because, I mean, it is like an Eric Snow card. You can't make him too crazy. And then actually finishes off our baby demons here, and we can hop into the demons with Isaiah Thomas. Still one of the best point guards in the entire game. Really, no question about it. Dude's got, really good defense. Some of the best slashing I've used on a card, aside from, a card we'll see a little bit later in John Morant. Really good shooting as well, like jump shot 14. Not bad at all, and just all around can do a little bit of everything. He has the quick dribble style, can cheese around, and it's just super fun. Next up is my man Gary Payton. Has jump shot 40 on that normal timing, has a shifty dribble style, and is the best defender I have used in the game at the guard positions. Like, period. Gary Payton locks everything down, like literally everything down. Then on top of that, can still get buckets himself. Like, come on. If you haven't gone up to get Gary Payton yet, you're doing yourself a disservice, and you need to do it in this final week of my team. Next up is my man Stephen Curry. Has the Steph Curry jumper on quick, which is absolutely money. A really good dribble style, as well as some really good dribble animations. His layup package, for some reason, just never gets blocked. I don't know what it is. And for some reason, this Steph Curry, on me especially, just dunks all over my head for no reason. It's just so annoying. I don't know what it is, but I can just never stop this Curry from getting at least 3 to 5 posters on me every game. And then on top of that, you mix it with one of the fastest and easiest to green jumpers in the game, and you have one of the best point guards in the game. I've seen a lot of people say there's some people better than Steph Curry, but in my opinion, him and Gary are still the top 2 point guards in the game, and you can kind of debate on who's 3 to 5. That's just my opinion, though. Next up is our man John Wall, who I think can consistently fit in that 3 to 5 position. John Wall does have the base dribble style, but I will say he is the only base dribble style card that I think is worth it in my team. The John Wall jumper, not only, but the only base dribble style PG that is worth it. There we go, in my team. Because the John Wall jumper, super money, and they gave him glitched shooting, which is obviously amazing. Is super quick as well, not quack, super quick as well, which is kind of why you can get away with having the dribble style, because he's so fast, has like a 95 speed across the board, which is really, really good, and has obviously amazing defense and amazing playmaking, because it's John Wall. It's kind of what he's known for, and they just added the shooting to him, which is really great. I do think he's a little bit overpriced, but is an absolutely insane card. Next up is our man Jonte Morant, and I guess I'll use Steve Francis as well. With both of these guys, you have some of the best dribbling animations you could possibly find in the game, and both are really good slashers as well, which is kind of crazy. With Jonte Morant, you get the Paul George jumper, which is always really, really good depending on who you are. I find it super consistent. And then on Steve Francis, you have jump shot 116, which is the same thing as the Dion Waiters in previous years, just for some reason they changed it. Steve Francis is going to be a little bit better of a shooter, but Jonte Morant is going to be a lot better of a slasher, so it's kind of just about who you prefer in that aspect. I like Jonte Morant a little bit better, but Steve Francis is still an absolute god. Neither of them really have defense, but I will say Steve Francis does come with gold pick dodgers, so maybe get a little bit boost there, but you can really add a lot of edges to them to make them both great. You do that for both of them, and they are some of the best PGs in the game and are so fun. Like, these are two of the most fun cards to use in my team right now, and you ask anybody that has them, and they will say the same thing. Next up is our man Trey Young, a card that gets insanely slept on. The Trey Young jumper, money, and it's so fast too. And then on top of that, I've actually been able to pretty consistently drive to the basket and have some fun with Trey, although you do have to like watch what you're doing because it's pretty easy to block him. And then it has godly defense. Like, it's just one of the first years where you don't have to have a Trey Young card in the game and have to hide him on defense because he's going to get absolutely cooked. Because, I mean, the Hall of Fame claims and all that, the dude gets buckets, and he's really, really good just all around. I love this Trey Young. I think he was so fun. He actually carried me to my first few wins in Unlimited before I picked up clicked up Clay, and it was so fun, so nice. And then last but not least is our man Penny Hardaway, who's just a god, 6'7", amazing slasher, has a kind of a slow jumper, but his dribble styles and all that sort of stuff is really good. And I've found some helpful tips from people that the way that you make Penny Hardaway really good is you actually kind of have to let them go by you and then use Penny to play defense in the paint, whether it's a chase down block or just putting your hands up and timing it correctly. That's kind of how I have to play with Penny Hardaway because you're going to get blown by on the perimeter, so you kind of just have to let it happen and then get chased down, things like that, which is pretty nice. So if you can actually effectively use Penny Hardaway correctly, I think he belongs in the Demons tier. But if you're just an average Joe, you're not the greatest player on my team, and we're using specific defensive schemes and like ways to do things, I think Penny Hardaway could probably drop in the Baby Demon, but I'm gonna throw him up in the Demons just because it's Penny Hardaway, and it's the first insanely good holder PG. Although Lonzo Ball is hopefully coming pretty soon, and he's going to be an absolute god. So let me know what you guys think about the list down in the comment section below. Would you move some guys up, move some guys down, and all that wonderful stuff as well? We can always have some chats down there. Subscribe if you guys are new, hit the like button, and make sure you check out the sponsor in the link in the description down below. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video.